I'm standing before a Holiday Inn in the financial district of Manhattan. This is just one of the few hotels that are now predominantly being used to house migrants. As of late September, more than 118,000 migrants have arrived in New York City since the spring of 2022. More than 60,000 of them have obtained housing in the city's shelter system. But officials are struggling to respond to their needs, and Mayor Eric Adams has called the situation a humanitarian crisis that could, quote, destroy New York City.
Let me tell you something, New Yorkers. Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City.
Most migrants that come to New York are from countries in South America and West Africa. They come in hopes of finding safety, work, and stability. But integrating into a new city isn't always easy for them. They're typically housed in hotels, once vacant office buildings, and school gyms. Since the city is now running out of housing options, Mayor Adams has limited shelter days to 30 days, after which migrants will have to reapply for housing. This is a growing crisis in the city, so let's talk to some New Yorkers and find out what they think.
When I came here, I had this illusion that it was just like a melting pot, the melting pot of the U.S., and that all different cultures are coming here and they're making like a place for themselves. But I'm hearing about all these issues of like other states sending huge buses of immigrants all the way here, and I'm not really sure what they're trying to combat or if New York is actually a good place to be for somebody who wants to start fresh. They're trying to move people here, but I also understand that there is a huge housing crisis. So maybe New York is not really, it's not really the perfect place to have all of these immigrants. Maybe it would be maybe a place that had lower prices in terms of housing and had more like actual land area would be a good place.
Mayor Adams and New York Governor Kathy Hochul have blamed the Biden administration for not providing enough support for the migrant crisis. The mayor claims that the migrant influx could cost the city $12 billion over 3 years. He has also previously looked into temporarily housing migrants in parking lots, in tents in Central Park and Prospect Park, and even on cruise ships.
I understand that it's a crisis, but I also understand that it's a crisis for the people who are migrating to New York. They're coming from horrible, horrible places, and they're searching for opportunities, just like the American dream from so many years ago. I don't remember who said it, but something about the American dream actually being an American nightmare. It's kind of what it's turning into. New York is very limited in the space of New York, but also we have so much funding, and I feel like if we wanted to allocate some of those funds to helping the migrants, that would be a plus. That would be awesome.
In general, like anything that we can do to just house and feed people is the best. I just think everyone deserves that.
I'm in full support of humans receiving adequate, care and rights anywhere in the world. I do, however, think that we should be more strategic about allocating resources, especially when we have a lot of people in this country suffering from homelessness, food insecurities, and just other circumstances in general. So I think we just kind of need to work better on how we manage our issues internally.
There just needs to be a plan in place. Anything works if you have a solid plan and people willing to work with you.
Apart from housing, migrants face extreme difficulties in finding work as well. Before they can officially start working, they have to wait for a work permit, which can take up to 6 months to process. If they don't receive a permit, they work as undocumented workers who are often overworked and underpaid.
I think people love to dehumanize migrants in a way that is particularly harmful, and I think it becomes a sort of moral panic when really the focus should be that it's human lives, that people wouldn't be coming here if they weren't trying to escape something. That's the whole point of migration a lot of the time. And so the fact that people seem to lose that sort of humanity is just really disappointing. The whole relocation scheme is really difficult to do in actuality. I think obviously with a sudden influx of migrants, people like obviously aren't always prepared like with adequate resources. I think trying to move people who are in such a difficult situation, just like for the reallocation of resources gets really difficult. It's very tricky. It's very hard to do. And there's not always a guarantee that there's going to be more resources where you're trying to move them to. So I don't know if that's really a realistic solution.
As you can see, New Yorkers have different opinions about the migrant crisis in the city. We will just have to wait and see what the Adams administration does to tackle the issue. This is Nandini Gupta in New York reporting for NDTV.